as a cunt.
Okay gents, welcome to the second video of the channel. Another battle report today, this time 1850 points on this cityscape terrain. Lovely urban map from Frontline Gaming. Some lovely detail on there. Got a few ruins scattered around. Some ruined barricades as well on the sides. And there's a couple of craters from previous shelling of the city. Today the battle will be the Imperial forces of Grey Knights with Space Marines and Inquisition, the Holy Inquisition, will be facing off against the Tau. 1850 points, competitive style ITC game. We'll get onto the lists now. Okay, so we've just come back from, well, a couple of days ago from the Brighton Warlords Highlander Escalation event, which was a lot of fun. Bit of a different tournament, so you started at 500 points in the first game. You played 5 games in one day, the last one being the full 1500. Managed a respectable second place, and he managed a respectable 4th place. Or not so respectable. But yes, that was a lot of fun. But just going to go into the list now for the Imperial. So what we've got here is it's a bit different, still competitive in my opinion, still has some punch. Obviously it's not as competitive as a straight Centurion star with a conclave or anything. It's also different to a lot of the Space Marine lists going around at the moment. However, I've chosen to give it a try. Maybe I'm considering putting in a Colexus for the next game, but at the moment there's not enough points and just fiddling around with a couple of things. So first off, there's a White Scars CAD. So we've got 2 Librarians, both level 2 with axes, one with the Hunter's Eye, one with an Auspex. And then we've got for troops 2 units of 5 scouts with bolt guns there. And then in heavy support, 2 units of 3 Devastated Centurions, all with grav and bolters, omniscopes on the sergeants. Fast attack, there's 3 drop pods, obviously 2 of which will be for the Centurions, one of which can be used for some of the allied forces for now, because we're using the ITC FAQ still, or can come down empty onto an objective. You play the 3rd pod just to get the first 2 in on turn 1, that's why you need to play the 3rd pod. And then to round off the CAD is a bunker, which is quite versatile. You can put the Sense in or the Inquisition forces. So then I've got a Nemesis Strike Force detachment, level 3 Librarian there with a Demon Hammer. And for troops there, we've got a unit of 5 strike squads, all with swords, and a Incinerator on one of them. Then 2 Dreadknights, both with personal teleporters, great swords and heavy incinerators. I wanted to play the Psy cannons as well, but it just becomes way too costly. 35 points for a weapon is too much in my opinion. And then lastly, you've got the Inquisition detachment, so you've got Codex here, and an Inquisitor with 3 servo skulls. Then we've got 3 units of henchmen at the back, 2 acolytes, bare bones, and a psyker. 2 acolytes, bare bones, and a psyker. Just give you a better shot of those. And then at the front, 3 servitors with plasma cannons, and another psyker there as well. So extra dice there from the cheap psykers, and some plasma weaponry as well, very cheap from the servitors, while also giving all the benefits of Kotias and servo skulls. It's quite a toolbox of an army, a few powerful units, and let's see if it can take on the Tau basically. Okay, so I'm going to switch over now. Just forgot, I quickly wanted to show off the Dreadknights as well. Thought the Chaplain Dreadnought chassis came out really well. I really hate the Dreadknights with the stupid like guys strapped in, all BDSM like. So these guys came out really nicely. Also tied in the Grey Knights to the existing Space Marines I had with the same scheme, the gold and black, and then the hazard stripes. So came out really well. Okay, onto the Tau properly now.
Hey guys, so here's the Tau Force to take on the Grey Knight Marines. It's double canned with a formation. So overall both the CADs joined together, we've got 2 HQs in the form of the Commander and Shadow Sun, and the Commander has a fusion fusion blaster and a plasma rifle, and he's also got all the stuff to help him stay alive, like iridium and all that stuff, and shield generator. And they're in a big unit of 7 crisis suits, one of which is a Shard's Rare Ridge with all the buff Manda stuff, and the rest of them have either fusion plasma or double missile, and the double missile have target locks. And then we've also got 5 one-man double burst cannon crisis suits. I just didn't have enough burst cannons there to put them on the models, but they do all have double burst cannons. And then 5 single one-man tetras, so quite MSUE, should be able to get objectives quite well. And then for the formation, got a Riptide Wing, 1 unit of 2 burst cannons, 1 one-man burst cannon, and 1 one-man iron accelerator. So,
jeez!
So, yeah, see how it goes.
Okay, so here we are at the end of deployment, scouting and infiltrating. So we rolled up Emperor's Will on the ITC mission table. So that's Emperor's Will and Dawn of All deployment. Tau won the role to deploy and go first. So they set up 5 tetras and a Riptide, and then they also rolled the Warlord trait to infiltrate 3 units. So I deployed
very defensively in my corner. So I've got the 2 Dreadknights, 3 idiots there behind the bunker, 3 idiots out of line of sight in that ruin. Then Cody has 3 plasma cannons and the Inquisitor in the bunker. Everything else is in reserve, so
2 units of Centurions in pods, a pod full of scouts, 5 scouts outflanking, and the 5 dudes with the Terminator Librarian as well. So I also deploy my servo skulls in tactical positions to prevent the infiltration and scouting from basically hurting me too much, which is why he's only been able to just infiltrate quite defensively there, and the Riptides could really only set up back there. So it's mitigated some of his Alpha Strike, but we'll see how it goes. Regarding psychic powers, the Librarian's Hunter's Eye got Shriek and Prescience, the other one has got Phase Form and Psychic Shriek, which is quite good. Kotiaz didn't really get anything except for Prescience. The level 3 Librarian got Gate of Infinity and Psychic Shriek and Purge Soul. And then the 3 idiots all roll on Telepathy, all got Psychic Shriek. 1 got Shrouding, 1 got Invis, and 1 got Mental Fortitude. I also have the Conqueror of Cities Warlord trait, which is very useful. There is no night fight, so moving on to Tau deployment.
Hey guys, so here's the Tau deployment. For the Infiltrate Warlord trait, but was basically nullified by the Servo Scars, which are the little men here and there. So I couldn't get really that good placing. But I did infiltrate 2 units of Riptides and the big Crisis Bomb. So yeah, and then obviously couldn't scout with the Tetras that well as well because of the Servo Scars. And the 5 one-man suits are deep striking, obviously, but I think quite well placed to get some objectives and yeah, best I could do really. So the objectives, so we're doing Emperor's Will. The red marker and the blue marker over there next to the Bastion are the Emperor's Will ones, and then the 2 poker chips are the 2 Maelstrom for the modified Maelstrom ITC. So yeah, I think that's everything. Alright, so Tau had the first turn, they didn't get seized on. Started by just moving up Tetras, getting rid of Servo Skulls, a couple, that one over there turbo boosted. One of the Riptides failed his ion, even with the reroll. And the ones that went on burst went on, the ones that have burst went on burst, and the other one went on smart missile. And then these crisis suits move over here. In shooting, all that was in range was the missile pods, and they just plinked off the armor off the Dreadknight. And then the iron Riptide fired an iron accelerator shot, by extension hit the henchmen behind the bunker and killed one, but they passed their leadership. That's pretty much it. So got to receive the drop pod assault now.
Okay, end of the Holy Inquisition's turn 1. So quite a long turn, a few things to think about. So the Nemesis Strike Force dudes came down here, didn't scatter too much. The 2 Dreadknights shunted upwards 30 inches. 1 pod came down here, the guys went into the ruins, so that's the normal Librarian. And then the Hunter's Eye Librarian dropped down here
into that crater. Everything else didn't really move, nothing else came in. So I rolled kill a unit and hold objective 2, which is there. So intercepting from the 4 Riptides, kill the Centurion up here, put a wound on the Sergeant, and here kill 2 Centurions and put a wound on the Sergeant, and these guys were untouched. So it wasn't too bad. Psychic phase form went off on this unit, and this unit was also prescienced. Then 3 psychic shrieks all were thrown out at the star, did a few wounds there, and then these 2 units of Grav Centurions, well the 3 Centurions that are left, basically decimated the rest of the star, killed both the commanders, the Shadow Sun, just 1 guy left on a wound there. Fire from these strikes also helped, and the Dreadknights are sitting pretty. They incinerated the Tetras but didn't do anything. Oh yeah, and some plasma cannon shots from the idiots in the bunker finished off 2 more of the crisis suits there. So quite a good alpha strike or beta strike, whatever we want to call it. Riptides are pretty much untouched, but they're not shooting this turn, which is good. And I kill the unit, and I'm probably going to get objective 2 as well. So a very good turn all in all for the Holy Inquisition.
Right, end of Tau turn 2, basically playing damage control. So everything ran away pretty much. Oh, we had 4 crisis suits come in who came in around the Tetras and didn't scatter. Rolled better on my Maelstrom this time, could actually achieve the objectives. Couldn't achieve them last time. So I had to get 1 unit in his deployment zone, which I'm obviously going to do, and get objective 2, which I might be able to do as well. So everything just moved around. I did manage to kill the Librarian from that unit, and they fled.
Unlucky not to kill the Centurion though.
Yeah, just with burst cannon shots and mark lights. They couldn't shoot, so they just ran away. Basically everything ran away, and plan is just to now sit on Emperor's Will whilst trying to get some Maelstrom and not die, basically. Because that was a really brutal Grey Knight turn, so yeah.
Okay, welcome back gents. End of the Holy Inquisition's turn 2. Pretty eventful turn, so Felix rightly ran away with his Riptides. Basically just trying to stop me killing them because the rest of my army's pretty slow except for the Dreadknights.
So pod came in full of scouts and disgorged their scouts there.
These scouts outflanked on this side. I did a cool move here, so the Grey Knight Librarian left the squad, joined the Hunter's Eye Librarian and the single Centurion, and in the Psychic phase, Gate of Infinity up to this ruin here. And then as you can see, they got shots onto the unit of 2 there. Grav shots and a Psychic Shriek managed to actually kill an entire Riptide. So that Riptide's by himself now, he's got 3 Riptides by themselves. That Dreadknight moved up, killed the Tetra with the Flamer, but his primary target was the Crisis Suit, charged and killed him. This Dreadknight shunted up this way, killed the Tetra and killed the Crisis Suit. These Grey Knights Centurions moved up by foot, split fired, killed 2 Tetras, charged 1 to finish it off. So there's just 1 Tetra left here and 1 hull point after all the shooting from here. These guys also moved up to get their Las pistols on the Crisis Suit. These guys moved up just normally, and then these scouts managed to kill the burst cannon Crisis Suit, which was there. It's quite a good turn. Oh yeah, these guys also finished off that commander, which was there with a lucky shot. So I managed to get the kill 3 units special objective for a total of 3 Maelstrom points, which is really lucky. Also managing to kill that Riptide with that risky Gate of Infinity was pretty good. Landing in 3 up cover with my Warlord trait as well, with no dangerous terrain. So everything is going smoothly for the Imperium. Just need to push forward basically and take his Emperor's Will from him. But I'm sitting quite comfortably near mine. So that was the end of turn 2.
End of Tau turn 3 here. The last Crisis Suit came in. Over there. And then they combined fire with the Tetra and killed the scouts. Riptides hail-fired, shooting twice, but only did 2 unsaved wounds in total. Pretty unlucky.
No, 3.
Just killing the 2 characters and doing a wound to the Dreadknight. So they're probably going to get killed now by the Dreadknight, which they were hoping to kill with Dotfire. So not looking very good.
Welcome back, gents. End of turn 3 for the Holy Inquisition. So Tau are still doing Project Runaway. So that Dreadknight, which was up there, which is no longer there, moved up 12 to get within 2 inches of that Riptide. And then he promptly got Overwatched by all 3. He had 2 wounds left and he died to all the shots. But then in a ridiculous trade-off, the Riptide, he was on 2 wounds due to the Centurion taking 2 wounds off him, and he rolled 2 gets hot and rolled double ones. So he died as well in a crazy trade-off there. This Dreadknight moved up, flamed into that Tetra with the Torrent Flamer, but didn't do anything. These 2 Centurions finished off Crisis Suit, which was there. The rest of the Inquisitorial lot, all the henchmen, slowly moving up towards the home objective. As are these Grey Knights, and they shot and killed the Tetra as well. And that's basically the turn. So not much left on the board. 2 Riptides and a suit for the Tau and a Tetra, and then basically all of these guys for the Inquisition. And I did score. Actually, no, I haven't scored anything yet. So that was the turn.
Okay, so end of Tau turn. Is it 4?
Yeah.
End of Tau turn 4. So lost a Riptide, unluckily, to gets hot rolls, which is a bit silly. But they did do a decent amount of shooting this turn. They managed to kill the Centurion, who was on 1 wound, and did a couple of wounds to the Dreadknight. So he might be able to finish it off next turn. Probably still not going to win due to Maelstrom and objectives, but might be able to at least salvage some glory in killing most of the killer units. And those guys just bunched up and took some pots with the Dreadknights to no avail, who they're probably going to get killed by charges. So, yeah, that's about it.
Okay, gents. End of Inquisition turn. What was that? Turn 4?
Yeah.
So, Tau actually striking back very well. I know he's only got 2 Riptides left, basically. However, he's killed everything that's worth anything, except for 1 Dreadknight, which is on 1 wound. Both those Centurions are on a wound, and I've got all my little retards running up. So, basically, the Dreadknight just moved up, charged and killed the Crisis Suit. Failed invisibility on the Dreadknight, which was annoying, and then everything else moved up. That was pretty much it. These guys ran sideways, just basically aiming not to die before the game ends, and I should win on Maelstrom. That's pretty much it.
Right, so end of Tau, turn 5. There's no way I can win Maelstrom, so we're not probably going to counter it anymore. But basically the Tetra moved back and the Riptides killed the Dreadknight. So it's going to be tight on primary. He's got to make some run moves and things like that to get the Emperor's Will over there if he wants that. But I think Tau have still got a minor loss because of tertiaries and Maelstrom. It's just if he wants to make it major.
Alright guys, end of turn, what was that? Turn 5?
Yeah.
Turn 5, so the game's going on to turn 6, but end of turn 5. So these 2 plasma cannons, which had been shuffling out the whole game, managed to kill the Tetra up there to try and stop Line Breaker. Then everything else moved up. A bit thin on the ground now. It's basically 2 Riptides against a bunch of idiot guys and a couple of Centurions. Yeah, that's basically it. So I need to get my Emperor's Will and not die to win. Do it again.
Right, turn 6 here, so just going through the motions really. This guy Nova jump, but he didn't get within the objective, so that's not going to matter. And this guy just took bot shots at the Grey Knights here, so that's it really.
Okay, and that concludes the game. That was the end of turn 6 for the Inquisition. So basically just moved up, ran the scouts onto the home objective. Everybody else didn't really do much. These Centurions moved up and got a line of sight on the last Riptide, or second last Riptide. Shot and killed him luckily, and then everything else didn't do anything. They rolled to see if the game went on and it didn't. So it ends there with a draw on primary, and then Inquisition wins on secondaries and Maelstrom. So Tau have a Riptide left. I have 2 Centurions on a wound each, some scouts, a couple of pods, Kotias, a few Inquisitors, and a few Grey Knights on the right side as well. So yeah, the list is okay. Normally I'd probably consider using a Colexus, maybe try and get some artillery in there, like a Thunderfire, quad gun, or a, not quad gun, what's it called? Quad mortar from Fordor, they're really good. Or Scorpius with some more points. The Dreadknights are good, they did a good job at cleaning up all these backfield units, but they die quite easily. The 4 wounds is a problem. So I don't know, we'll continue testing the list. We'll also try a Scent Star with a Conclave next, which is obviously going to be very good, very powerful. But yeah, definitely try and fit a Collectus in if you're going to tournaments, especially when they're
ETC style, there'll be lots of Death Stars. I like the list though. Any comments on your list, mate?
Probably
try and get a 5th Riptide in there, I'd say.
Maybe going forward, the Crisis Stars are really good, but it does a lot of damage, but it's very short range, and maybe because of that, maybe drop a few mods off there, fit in a bunker to protect it, and a 5th Riptide. Something like that.
Yeah.
The lone suits are really good with the Tetras though. Normally, if there's no server skulls, you can really spread out across the board and easily pod down and get objectives. So.
Yeah, that's what I liked about this list, the servo skulls and all the different units interacting together, all the little one-man psychers and all the dice.
Nice little toolbox. The servo skulls completely shut you down. If I'm going first, they stop me scattering. With the pods, they're really good utility.
Work against infiltrate and scout.
Just get rid of battle companies and stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. Completely nullifies battle company. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also the plasma, 70 points for 3 plasma cannons came in quite useful. Killed a few Tetras, finished off some crisis suits. So yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Subscribe.
We'll try and get some more competitive footage out. We're going to the Pompey Pillage this weekend.
It's this weekend.
Yeah.
So maybe see a few people there, get some footage of like before and after of our games, and we'll upload that. It's a fun event. It's got an interesting rules pack, which we've obviously broken as usual. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully come back with some trophies and some prizes. So that's it for now.